Let's go Chargers 16, Chiefs 13. The Chiefs are missing the playoffs, and I couldn't be happier. Send them straight to Cancun, baby. This is going to be a wake-up call for Veach and the front office that Mahomes has clearly not been the same quarterback for years now, and they're going to have to give him more. Kelsey's going to be gone. He's regressed. His career's over. The defense is still a great unit, but the offense has had problems for years, and they've just gotten by for a few years now. But now it feels like a pressing issue to address. Now you need to go out and get a true number one. Every empire falls, like I said. But a fall off this quickly, from Super Bowl to missing the playoffs, with one of the greatest quarterbacks and head coaches the league has ever seen, I mean, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't add up. Something's been missed here. And I thought when Rashee Rice came back, you had Worthy, you had Hollywood Brown, Kelsey, despite his age. You had your guys. You could put something together here. No, you're missing the playoffs. Now Mahomes has torn his ACL, unfortunately out for the season. That's terrible news. Again, praying for a healthy recovery for him. I don't know how that impacts next season. I'm assuming he's good to go, but those ACLs, they can take a while, right? It differs person to person, obviously, but maybe it dips into a little portion of next year. I have no clue. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But at this point, you're kind of looking at things and saying, all right, we need to make a change. Something's not working. It feels like to me they've played just a crap ton of great teams this year. You know, I feel like every week I'm watching it, and it's just like another great team and another great team. You got the Lions. Then you're playing the Jags. Then you're playing the Chargers twice. Then you got the Broncos twice. Then you got the Colts. I mean, some of these teams, yeah, like they're good. Maybe not excellent, but they're good. But rarely am I seeing them play like bottom-feeding teams where they can just kind of take over. They play the Raiders twice, and that's about it. That's all I've seen this year. So it definitely is a challenge week after week to go into these big games and compete and actually win. But the difference between this year and last year, like I've said over and over, is just the ability to close out. They're not good in the clutch. Mahomes throws a game-losing interception today. You know, the game was there. Gave it up in the red zone. Tears his ACL, unfortunately, and it's over. It's over. It's honestly one of the most remarkable storylines from the season. I'd be willing to say it's the biggest storyline of the year. For the Chiefs, with Mahomes being at the level that he's at, with Reed being a first ballot Hall of Fame coach, you just didn't expect this. And you got to imagine there are going to be some riots in KC, and you're going to hear it from the fans, as you should. You should never miss the playoffs with that quarterback and head coach duo. I'll say it. You should never. Mahomes is going to need a real weapon for this to work again. Like I said, game-sealing interception, torn ACL. You're going to need to give him something next year. He's clearly not himself. Chiefs fans started blaming Andy Reid this year. I don't get it. I didn't hear the blame until they started losing and they needed to deflect somewhere. Andy Reid's fine. He's taken you to 7 or 8 straight conference championships. He can relax for a little bit. He can relax. You've won how many Super Bowls with him and Mahomes? He can chill out. Personally, I don't think Mahomes has had a top 5 season in years. Years. Now, I've always respected him and put him at number 1 on my quarterbacks list going into seasons because I know who he really is. And you have to take context into things and supporting casts and all of that jazz. But individually, like when you look at individual seasons, he hasn't had a top 5 season in years. He hasn't been the same quarterback. When you go back and watch the early stages of his career, that offense was highly explosive, Every second play, they were scoring touchdowns, driving the field, connecting on deep bombs. Granted, they had Tyreek Hill, and the year after he left, it was fine, but ever since, they have tapered off. And now the offense is boring, it's vanilla, and there's nothing to be excited about. I watch and I see the same product weekly from them, and it's not a good product. So the consistency there isn't very nice. They're going to have to make some changes. Spags is always going to do his thing with the defense. Always going to be a good unit now with him. But what can you do on offense to supplement Mahomes with a better run game? With maybe a true alpha, a guy that you can target downfield. Because right now you're missing somebody like Tyreek Hill in his prime who would just take the roof off and shoot out a peace sign, and it was all over. So that's the one thing I've noticed about that offense. The other side of the ball, Chargers, I mean, listen, shout out Jim Harbaugh. Shout out this defense. For them to be winning games with the offensive line being in the condition that it is, it's pretty remarkable. Like, I don't think this team is overly talented. I don't think they have superstars, but they make things work. And I think today it puts them at 10 wins, I want to say, on the season. Like, that's pretty good work from Jim Harbaugh. Like good on him. And the one guy, obviously, at the helm, dominating, Justin Herbert. Broken hand, zero protection. It doesn't matter. Justin Herbert has a dog in him. He's got a dog. You can't teach guts like that. You can't teach passion. You can't teach pride like that. It just comes naturally. You gotta want it. And Justin Herbert wants it. It's a disgrace if he goes his full career in LA and never wins anything. It would be a disgrace. He is so talented. He possesses so much skill and ability. And there is just this feeling I got that it's going to be one of those situations, one of those Rivers, one of those Matt Ryan situations where I don't even know if he gets to a Super Bowl, but he just never gets what he really deserves. Like, genuinely, I mapped it out here because I was thinking about all the elite quarterbacks that obviously I would deem to be elite in the league. It's one of the worst situations an elite quarterback has dealt with in the league. With no offensive line, with decent weapons. They're not wowing. They don't jump out at you by any means. Just average weapons. The defense has been phenomenal this year, especially late in the season. They've been really good. But again, like, he just gets knocked down every single week. The offensive line is just incompetent. He's got no protection, but he constantly makes things happen. He's constantly showing these flashes of greatness. Pure arm talent alone, he's in the top 5 conversation in the NFL. And he checks the playmaking box. There's literally nothing you can change about Herbert besides his landing spot, besides his destination. He had surgery and then back-to-back wins against good teams. It's impressive. It's impressive when you think about it. He gets surgery on his hand. He goes and plays the Eagles, win. Chiefs, win. Only a few quarterbacks are surviving behind this offensive line. And Herbert is one of them. If he had a real team, he can make an argument for MVP this year. But people don't want to hear that. People don't want to entertain that discussion because it's wild. He doesn't have the stats. It's like, imagine having this much time. You're done. He's sacked. Within half a second, the guy's just being blown up. He deserves a lot more respect than he gets every single year, honestly.